fire early. It was like classic Kevin Durant, just hitting the impossible shots, and you think, okay, there it is. This is why, the Rockets were favored coming into this. You have a guy that's going to be able to get a bucket, but that was not the case in the second half. And my big storyline to start, I mean, there's a lot of different angles here, but my first storyline is about Kevin Durant. It has been years since it was first a big talking point that if you trap KD up top, he doesn't always make the best decisions, and more important, he doesn't always put the right pressure on the defense when you extend to get the ball in a situation where his team can play 4-on-3. To me, that's the story of this game. He still looks completely flustered. He had, 9 turnovers in this game, which is, I believe, a career playoff high, and it stood out like a sore thumb, his inability to read against that what I would consider somewhat basic coverage. I mean, star players are going to get trapped up high in today's NBA, and the Rockets couldn't handle it. 94 points against the vaunted Lakers defense, which deserves a hat tip, but KD not being able to handle the trap to me was the storyline of game one, alongside obviously LeBron's incredible play.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things that stood out to me during the game. Let's start with your first point. You're right. It's almost as if in the second half, he wasn't anticipating it, which is strange because, particularly when you play well in the first half, you're going to get that treatment. This is a team that is a pretty anemic three-point shooting team in terms of volume. They're not going to really shoot you out of a game because you're double teaming or running traffic at Kevin Durant or Şengün. They're not going to do that. And I think the Lakers know that. Rockets have to know that. In fact, I called game one when the Lakers were committed to 3 or 4 jerseys in the paint defensively every trip, and they were going to force kickouts to the corners. Yeah. And Rockets have a number of guys, not only that aren't what you would consider pure shooters, they also had been especially struggling over a stretch coming into the postseason. So you knew that's what the Lakers were going to do. And look, without Durant in game one, it's entirely different scenario. Their offense was just really just so poor in that game. You almost expected that. Now Durant's back and he actually plays well to start. You're thinking like, okay, now that looks like maybe what could be more of their normal offense. Then their defense becomes more important. Their rebounding becomes more important. They turn you over, like all those things, because their offense is operating at a normal level. That wasn't the case in the second half. They didn't make them pay for the double teams. Too many turnovers, too many deflections, too many times the ball gets out late. Yeah. And the spacing out of it was not good. That's something that has to be adjusted to during a timeout. Get better spacing so his first pass is more readily available to him. I thought sometimes the wings were too deep down on the sideline where it's not easy for him to see and automatically know where the ball is supposed to go. Those wings need to come up higher, and part of the reason they're not higher is because those guys are not great shooters in that first pass that's coming out. So they're sort of burying themselves down in the corner a little bit. They'd much rather have the corner three than catch the ball in the wing with space where they have to shoot that one. It's a different shot. So they didn't handle it well, bottom line. So, there were a number of things that I want to get into here, but that's just that first point you made, You're 100% right. And if that doesn't change going forward when they get to Houston, you might see the same result.
I should mention this is our FanDuel game breakdown, always presented by FanDuel. We break down the games, and when we do, it's presented by FanDuel. So, yes, 94 points in today's NBA is like just such a low number. And then you talk about the Lakers defense, which again, I tip my hat to them. And I think JJ Redick has done a great job preparing for this series. I think head coaches, a lot of times it really is about the playoffs. Regular season, you're managing a bunch of things, but playoffs, like how does your team prepared for exactly the thing you need to do to attack them? And I thought they did a great job sending doubles from different places. Like it's not that you're going to make the same rotation every single time and let a team get comfortable. They did a good job of disguising it. And to me, the flip side with Ime Udoka, the Rockets looked kind of unprepared from it. Some of this, and I think a lot of it is Kevin Durant has always struggled with this specific thing. He has just not been an elite player when teams trap, and the NBA goes more and more to trapping up high. But at the same time, to your point, not a lot of spacing and three-point shooting in their lineup. And the team just didn't seem like they had this, here's exactly how this is going to go. This is exactly how we're going to get out of it. And this is where we're going to put pressure on. It didn't feel like that at all. It almost felt like the Rockets were just bothered by it. And we're like, we have to reset. Or where do we go from here? What's everybody doing? Somebody just cut to the ball. It's like with my 9-year-olds. I'm coaching the 9-year-olds where sometimes something happens and it's like chaos. Nobody's doing the same thing. That's what it felt like watching the Rockets. And to me, this is the big question about this Houston team, and I would say about Ime as well, is how much is your emphasis on the offensive end? 101 points is a good number for a playoff game. You did a good job defensively. 94, when you have Kevin Durant on your team, Alperen Şengün to me is just absolute insanity. What's the next thing for you? I mean, I imagine we have to get to LeBron very quickly because the opposite is true of LeBron James. They're different players, but my God, what a dominant performance for the 41-year-old. 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah, so I want to go there next, but first just tag what you just said about the Rockets and their offense. Think about it. They scored 98 points without Durant and 94 with him. Man. That doesn't make any sense. There's no logic there behind that other than a team that just clearly was not in position to make them pay for the way they were going to play defensively. And Lakers are feeding off of it, by the way. They can see it and they can sense it. And their energy defensively is incredible. And I would not have described the Lakers at any point this year as a elite or great or even a really good defensive team. You wouldn't describe them in any way like that. They were a team that at their best, and when they hit their stride there late in the year when Luka was going crazy, they're like so good offensively, it doesn't matter what kind of defensive team they are. That's how you would describe them. Just compete, though. Yes. And they've been competing at a high level because I think they sense it in the Rockets. They don't have an answer for this. So you're right about that. Now, LeBron, here's what stood out to me in this game. I'm watching the game, and I'm saying to myself, LeBron's 41. We've already been talking about all year about how nothing he's doing, just even athletically, is logical for a basketball player with the toll that this game takes on your body. And he's obviously this just incredible specimen, the way he takes care of his body, to be able to do this at this age. We've seen it all year. But here's what really jumped out to me last night, Adam. He had a transition dunk in the first half. He had a transition layup in the first half. In the second half, he had a jab step blow by reverse dunk behind his head against Durant with no deterrent at the rim. He had a back cut dunk later in the game when he was overplayed at the top of the key. Here's why I bring that up. That's 4 baskets. I might have missed one. That's 4 baskets I just described that are all related to just either running the floor or a simple jab step blow by where you're quick enough and athletic enough to get to the rim. 4 baskets like that on a night he shot 8 for 20. So imagine if he doesn't get those, like what his shooting would have been in the game, right?
Yeah.
But here's why I bring it up. Kevin Durant doesn't get any of those. Think about it. Kevin Durant gets nothing in transition. He's never running out on the wing where they throw it ahead and he goes to the rim and dunks it or lays it in. He doesn't blow by in a one-on-one and get to the rim quickly. He doesn't back cut and catch a ball where he goes in for a dunk. Everything he gets is off the dribble against 1 or 2 defenders with a defense set ready to play him. And he's up there in age. He's in closer to 40 than he is 30. So you need easy baskets when you get older. And the fact that LeBron can still get them just from sheer athletic ability and running the floor at 41 blows my mind. But he has to, because if he had to operate against half-court defenses in isolation all night at his age, he'd be a much less efficient player. He finds ways to get easy baskets. Durant doesn't get anything easy. Now, if you want to call a pull-up 18-footer with a hand in his face and it looks easy as an easy shot for him, I guess you're right. That's in his wheelhouse. But you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about stuff that you're getting to the rim and there's no contest at the end. And you just did it through sheer effort, timing, cutting, running. Durant gets none of it. And LeBron was able to find probably 8-9 points, including free throws, out of just that. And so for me, that really stood out to me that LeBron is able to still find ways to do that at this age, because it's not easy to have the determination, the stamina, the willpower to want to run that hard, cut that hard, beat a guy from 30 feet off the dribble and get to the rim and dunk it with authority. It's not easy mentally. And Durant, on the other end, you don't see anything easy out of him at all. And as a result, they've been held under 100 points in 2 games.
Yeah. It really, the minutes and the fatigue thing is an important one, because we're going to talk about fatigue in some of these series, particularly the Denver Wolves one. But LeBron plays 39 minutes and is just going full go, making great reads, making great decisions, running the break, elevating at the rim. It's just so insane that a guy at this age is that to me, like some of the other stuff Guys can have a hot moment or hot stretch, but the
agree.
stamina is the thing that I look at, and I'm like, how do you have the stamina for this? The other thing here, sending doubles, using Kevin Durant to guard LeBron, to me is kind of an insane thing, and also trapping LeBron. Because you think about this, LeBron can make shots against you, like he'll make tough shots, but are you really afraid at this stage of LeBron's career that of the half-court step-back threes and fadeaways on the baseline? So if you trap him, you're telling him, we're not going to let you do that. The thing you should actually want him to do, you're not going to let him do that. Instead, we're going to make you read the court. He's going to read the court every single time. And they kept switching either Kevin Durant out onto him or bringing traps to him. And I'm sitting here thinking, LeBron's not going for 44 times in the series, 45 points off of jumpers and tough plays. He's going to score, but I don't think he's going to beat you that way. He's absolutely going to beat you by making the right read and putting the pressure on you. So I even thought that part of Houston's strategy was a little bit strange in this game.
Here's why I think that's such a great point. So go back to game one. He had 8 assists in the first quarter, which is the most he's ever had in a quarter in a playoff game. And you know what? And it was all because a lot of it, some was transition, but some of it was like in the half court. A couple of times they doubled him before he had even dribbled the ball. So you want to talk about making it easy for a guy like LeBron James. He's that big. He's that strong. He puts velocity on the ball, and he hasn't already gone into his move off the dribble where now some passes are tougher to make because of the direction you went with your dribble. They doubled him before he had dribbled. He had 8 assists, and you know what that means? DeAndre Ayton's off to a great start.
Yeah.
Now you got to deal with him all night because now he's engaged. Kennard is off to a great start. Marcus Smart, Hachimura, like all of those guys got in rhythm early in the game, and it was like an onslaught. Now, look, I even said it on the broadcast. It was amazing to me. I looked up, it was 26-24 in that game, in game one, because of what the Lakers hit them with. They were shooting 70% at that point. They were only up 2. It was kind of a miracle to me, but it didn't matter because later on it came into play. Those guys all had their nights set up for them in the first quarter because of LeBron's facilitation. And I agree with you. Maybe there is something to be said about it. Let's see how many tough shots he can make.
Yep.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does because he's that damn good. But I think when you're going to let him see where the traffic is coming from before he's ever really even gone into his move, there's no chance you have to stop him from picking you apart. He did it in game one. I thought he did it to a lesser extent in game two, but still, the word I used for him going into the series, he has to control it without Luka and Austin Reeves. If he's in control and we're acknowledging that he's in control, then the Rockets are going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
And through 2 games, no one has been more in control of this series than LeBron James. And when you got Şengün, you got Kevin Durant, like there are other options for who could be in control. It's been LeBron James. It's been his show through 2 games. And that's why they're up 2-0 and the Rockets are in serious trouble.
One quick point here. So then you talk about, like, in today's NBA, you could say a guy's a good defender. Well, there's very few guys that are good at every type of defense because you can run a guy through screens. Are they good at screen navigation? Or you could try to get him on the block. Are they strong enough to hold up there? There's always, like, for almost all defenders, there's some weak point. Throwing KD on LeBron, just run him into a screen. He's 7 feet tall. It's so hard to navigate a screen when you're that tall. And all night they could just get LeBron forcing rotations because Kevin Durant's not going to slither around the screens and be able to stay in front of him. And then Şengün, we have to just mention Şengün here because defensively the same thing. And I don't know what Houston's thinking. He'd get switched out onto LeBron. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, that's a mismatch. But again, you're going to make LeBron go for 45, much more than control every aspect of the game. And every time Şengün would get out there, he'd look back and be like, somebody come help. Or like he'd almost like shade to one side and say, come bring me help. And I'm sitting here thinking, why? Let LeBron ISO you. Give him some space. Let him ISO you. Yes, he's going to score, but that's not going to keep their team in rhythm. And then on the other end, Şengün, like you look at it, he had some like good moments in this game, 20 points, 9 of 12 shooting, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. Like that's a good stat line. And yet it still didn't feel like he could impose his will on this game. It wasn't that he was dictating it. And that's not necessarily a surprise if you watch the Rockets all year. But nonetheless, I actually think that he becomes a central figure in game 3 going forward, which is, can he be the one that dictates what's happening in the game a lot more? Because I do think that he has an advantage and can put pressure on them in a way that they just haven't felt yet.
And the problem is through 2 games, he's not winning the one-on-ones. He's not winning the end of possessions when he's gotten to his spot. He's not finishing like that. This is a guy that, we've given a lot of praise to.
Yeah.
Particularly like the way he played in Eurobasket, the way he played last year. This is an all-star caliber player in this league. And through 2 games, he's 15 for 39 from the field as a big man. Like he has to be better because he's missed a number of shots in the paint with the short little jump hook, the little push shots that he likes to shoot. He hasn't gone even – how many times have you seen him in 2 games where he catches the ball at like that elbow area, he turns, squares up, and then he goes to that little lean back 1-footed shot? Like he does that all season. He hasn't done it in this. Now, to give DeAndre Ayton credit, he's jamming him up. He's been very active. I think Ayton's played really well. We need to give the guy credit because he gets maligned when he doesn't. He has been a factor, man. You're noticing DeAndre Ayton with his activity, but still, you're Şengün. If you're a guy that think you want to have a certain prestige and status in this league, these are the kind of moments you got to win those. You got to win those, and it's not enough to just get down there and get into your little spin move and go to a jump hook. Getting off the shot doesn't matter. Converting it does. Yeah. So he's got to be better, and I do think with what Durant is going to see on the perimeter and the way they're going to play him, the opportunities are more there for Şengün probably even than Durant. Şengün is capable of having a 25 to 30-point game shooting over 50% from the field, and if he does that, this is going to feel different. Their offense is going to feel different. The Lakers are going to pay for the way they're extending against Durant. Şengün hasn't done that. He didn't do that in game 1 when Durant wasn't there. When you really need him to be great, he was just okay. He was not just okay. I thought he was below average in game 2. He needs to be better, particularly if Durant's going to draw that much attention. So I'm putting a lot of this emphasis in game 3 on Şengün's shoulders. Don't give me a 25, 30-point game and do it efficiently and be dominant because you have the capability of doing it. Your team desperately needs it. And it's the only way, I think, to make the Lakers even revisit or question at all what their defensive strategy is going to be against Kevin Durant.
Well, we have to take our first break, Legs. I mean, I could do another 10 minutes on this series, but we have so many good ones that I just want to keep it moving so we make sure we hit all of them. So let's take our first break. I will say this.